Meanwhile, Wisconsin voters who chose the uninstructed delegation Tuesday in the presidential primary more than doubled the amount of votes that President Biden won the state by back in 2020. Members of the Wisconsin Coalition for Justice in Palestine say this should act as a warning sign for his re-election chances in the state. Our Catherine Merck breaks down the numbers from election night. Catherine?
Some progressive and pro-Palestinian groups made their stance on the conflict in Gaza clear to the president through their ballots.
There's a lot of things at stake here.
Janann Najib, with the Wisconsin Coalition for Justice in Palestine, says the results of Tuesday's primary uninstructed vote should send a message to the president.
We are asking President Biden to not to choose to be a one-term president and to come back and actually take a stand, take a humanitarian stand.
Here's a look at some of the numbers. In Wisconsin, the uninstructed delegation took over 48,000 votes. That's about 8.3% on the Democratic side. Joe Biden won the 2020 election in Wisconsin by just over 20,000 votes. Najib says this says a lot about some Democrats' unhappiness with Biden's stance on the conflict.
That should be a wake-up call to the administration.
It's a way to express a certain dissatisfaction with an incumbent when there's no one else on the ballot to seriously contest the race.
Charles Franklin is the director of the Marquette Law School poll. He told us ahead of the primary that the uninstructed vote is nothing new.
We've seen it, especially in years where there's an incumbent who's unopposed or doesn't have serious opposition.
Nearly 2% of Democratic primary voters opted for that vote instead of then President Barack Obama in the 2012 primary. But these higher percentages in this election aren't something to ignore. As voters now look to November, Najib says she wants the president to send his own message to the American people about the conflict in Gaza.
We are still hopeful that President Biden and the administration will change course.
A similar campaign in Michigan's primary back in February, the uncommitted option received more than 100,000 votes. That was about 13% of the primary vote count for Democrats.